Multi-band compression is the hero of my eternity as a producer slash music maker. And it's really simple, actually. Don't get intimidated by your multi-band compression.
Tell me, what does it do?
So it's basically a combination of two things. An equalizer, which is where you take different frequencies and you boost them up, and a compressor, which is basically where you can take a sound and think of it like a garden hose. So like you take a different nozzle and you compress the water flow coming through and it goes rather than that's the difference. I mean, I hope you got the visual there. Versus
That's one of the worst animals.
yeah, thank you. So basically Niagara Falls versus fire hose.
Why don't you just sound goodizer and Rick Wallen and everything?
Stop. Because finesse is important, especially in EDM, because EDM is all about, if nothing else I've learned, like good EDM production is all about lots of automation and like the most ridiculous, like precise EQing everywhere, because you're basically trying to make your EDM sound like it's been played as a real instrument in a way, because you want to give it that character, and it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that's really complicated, but let me get to the simpler part of what multi-band compression is and why you shouldn't be scared of it. So a multi-band compressor does, as I said, it's basically you take the entire frequency spectrum. So a human can hear from 20 hertz, which is cycles per second, which is what sound waves are made out of. So if you imagine a sound wave, like 20 cycles per second is 20 waves, and that's what we hear as you can't really hear it too well because it's 20 hertz. But so like, and then it goes to 20 kilohertz, which is 20,000 waves per second. So that's about the normal human hearing range. Most people actually can't hear up to 20,000 hertz, but it doesn't matter. So basically you get this graph of that, okay? And you can apply different compressions to different frequency ranges. And so a compressor, as I mentioned, does that to the sound. So instead of having to just take the whole sound into your compressor as it is and like squishing it, you can kind of be like, I'm gonna take just the one frequency, like the sound, and you can sometimes actually hear like a really annoying buzz in an instrument, like a snare drum. If you hear a snare drum, it goes and you hear that ring, you don't want that ring ringing out. You sound like Saint Anger. No one wants to sound like Saint Anger. And so you have to take like, you take an EQ, but you could take the multi-band compression. So every time the snare drum goes, you just basically have the multi-band compression compress down that happens. So you just find that frequency range and you can do that. And you can do that with any instrument. And it's particularly good for rock music because the bass and the guitar tend to take up the same frequency range. So if you take the guitar, which is the bigger sounding instrument, and make sure that the lower end, usually around 250 hertz, is like compressed a little bit so it doesn't take, especially if there's palm muting where it's like, right? So like that noise with the bass guitar, so you can make it so, and you can usually see it. Most good multi-band compressors, and unfortunately don't have any recommendations for you, but if you find a good one, it'll actually show that happening, and so you can kind of keep track. So that is your tech talk for the day. Multi-band compression is your friend.
Yes. So Professor the Wolf,
Where's my pipe?
tell me why no sound goodizer?
All right. So sound goodizer is basically like spam.
Oh, wow.
All right. It's a preset of ham and spice. So you get spam, and spam tastes okay, maybe, but kind of ugly. So if you know what you're listening
Depends on
for,
what you're eating it with.
depends on what you're eating it with, right? So sometimes sound goodizer is okay, but I would never put it on an entire mix. But if you wanted to like really make your bass sound, so instead of going from to like if you wanted it to sound like that, you could put a sound goodizer on it, because like instead of having the sound, you basically be able to just squish it and bring it up. Because what a sound goodizer is it's two things. It's a maximizer and a compressor. A maximizer just basically takes the frequencies that it thinks the human ear is programmed to hear good, which is like 2 kilohertz, because 1 kilohertz sounds yeah, that noise, irritating. 2 kilohertz ain't so bad. 5 kilohertz also, like, I can't do it. But basically, yeah, it's basically a hiss. So it basically takes the 2 kilohertz and like some bass and just pumps them up, depending on how, because it's just one dial. And it also has a compressor, which, as we talked about, is the.
It's got 4 settings, sir. It's got
Those are presets. of those two same things. So that has 3 settings that are basically different presets of the level of the maximizer and the compressor. And you just turn them up or down as much as you want them. I would never put it in a full mix because you'd have something that sounds too. Which, I mean, you can tell which one sounds better, right? Oh God, the Undergarden. I love Wooden Toaster's melodies, but anywho, Sound Goodizer, spam.
But the entire state of Hawaii likes their spam. So should you use a Sound Goodizer in Hawaii?
Right. So Hawaii.
Excuse me while this guy from Hawaii comes to correct me.
Yeah, so what would an example of spam masubi be if you were going to be using Sound Goodizer?
Well, so spam basubi is, as I said, like you're using spam in a specific context, aka a single track or even combination of 2 tracks within an entire mix, much like Hawaii is a set of islands or a part of the United States.
Let's say Ireland.
Islands. Don't make fun of me, I've been drinking from that.
Okay, so that's masubi. Now, what would be a spam with pineapple sauce plate lunch?
Wait, before you answer that, these messages from our sponsors.
Guy Fieri's, diners, drive-ins, and... Oh wait, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Food Network 11.
Fieri the Wolf, I like it.
We had a question from the audience from Woody. Yeah. Come here. Speak. Use your shy drummer voice.
Yeah, what was in that cup?
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Only available in Wisconsin. I will say this, it involves the moon. That's all I can say. It's made in Wisconsin, involves the moon, and is probably what you think it is considering
Does
my
it shine?
So it's perfect for
No.
Oh, okay.
God.
That would be further south.
No. It's alright.
Are you talking about Blue Moon?
Legitimately, it's called Moon Man. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's called Moon Man.
It's milk.
All right. So, do we have any questions from the audience for Professor the Wolf? Or, Elements of Harmony in general? Or any of us?
Oh. Any questions?
What mess?
What's a good? Get up there and use the mic.
What's a good microphone for vocal recordings, and what do you guys all personally use?
What?
This is awesome.
Microphone?
That's a great question.
Because this ties into something that's hilarious. On our show, we say that we are unofficially supported by Focusrite. It's not a microphone, but I have a Focusrite preamp.
I have a Focusrite preamp.
I have a Focusrite preamp.
I have a Focusrite audio interface.
I have a Focusrite Solo.
All right, that's why. But as for microphones, personally, I use an AKG C2000B through a Focusrite preamp, and really, the microphone itself isn't as important as the preamp, in my opinion.
The preamp is more.
We're gonna have a chat later. I mean, maybe not for voiceover, but
Are you going to tell me that the only thing you can possibly use is a Neumann U87?
No, I'm just saying that different mics have different applications, and I think sure for voiceover work maybe, but you can get away with an AKG or even an AT2020 by.
An AT2020 is a great starter option.
It is a great starter option.
It's made by Audio Technica.
Yes.
It's fairly cheap. You can pick them up for $40.
And you can get just a USB version, so you don't have to purchase a Focusrite.
Exactly.
And it has an okay preamp in it. And the preamp is important. I won't contest you that. But anyway.
An important thing about that is it also allows you to do digital monitoring on the AT2020, which is also makes it a great starter microphone.
Yeah.
That's so that you can hear your voice through your headset as you're recording.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I just steal my mic
Uh,
from Cyril.
Fight me. I'm kidding. I can't fight a guy in a cowboy hat. I'd lose.
What mics do you guys use?
I use an AKG P220.
AKG? 2 AKGs here so far.
Yeah, I actually started the podcast with a blue snowball, but now I do use the AT2020.
All right.
I use a Shure SM7B, which, fun fact, that is what the Michael Jackson's album Thriller was recorded with for voice.
Nice.
It's kind of the standard in radio broadcast, so living in an apartment with a pet, I didn't want to get a condenser mic because that would just pick too much up, so I got a Shure SM7B. It's directional.
All right. Any other questions?
Plus the most important thing, Pop.
Cyril.
Yeah, what about Cyril? I want to see what he uses.
Cyril.
Oh, Cyril,
What do you
what
use?
microphone do you use?
For vocals.
For vocals. Yeah, so he says, I use two different microphones. I use a really cheap Chinese SM57 knockoff that I literally bought from some guy I met in college who said, yeah, I sent these off to China to get made, it's $50. And I was like, cool. And that's for my guitars. And then I use a EV Blue Cardinal, which I'm not even sure if they make anymore, which is a really vintage looking mic for my vocals, my acoustic guitars, and everything else. Okay. And that's, yeah, the EV Blue Cardinal is great. It's got, because I hate top end, it kind of rolls off really nicely in that, and it doesn't pick up the
That'd be super for your voice.
Yeah, it's really nice because my voice is nasally as F.
All right, thank
Winchester.
Thank you.
Real quick.
I use a MXL 990 Patriot.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Awesome.
If I wanted to start making music, how should I go about it?
Oh, Jesus.